Well, it's time to begin with our today's webinar. Hello and welcome to all our participants present here today. Thank you so much for your time, for joining us today. The coronavirus pandemic has led to a record economic upheaval that has shaken business to their roots. The global business closures and economic inactivity has caused many employers to offer pay cut, reduce workforce strength, or shut down all operations. Consequently, as companies ask their workers to return to work, employees have to deal with higher stress level than before the pandemic. Workplace stress is not a novel phenomenon, but the context of the coronavirus pandemic, workplace stress has heightened. More than 70% of Indian workers report that COVID-19 pandemic has been the most stressful time of their career. The survey also found that 88% of workers reported experiencing moderate to severe stress during phase 2 of this pandemic. Among the employees reporting higher stress levels, 62% noted losing at least an hour a day in productivity. Loss of productivity is not good for any organizations. A quote by Kelly O'Laughlin: putting its slightest less effort in times of high stress doesn't mean you don't care about your job. It means you care about your health. How can you lead a stress-free work life? Let's hear it from our speaker today. HR Association of India welcomes you all to the 2021 Dialogue Masterclass series on the topic Stress at Workplace. To know more about HRAI and its event, I would request all our participants to visit the link and details posted in the chat window. Request all the participants to kindly follow the webinar guidelines mentioned in the chat window. It would be great to have all the participants' feedback. We'll be running a poll before the Q&A session. I request all participants to kindly give your feedback on our session. I now take the privilege to introduce our esteemed speaker for today, Ms. Sakshi Madhyan, psychologist and happiness coach, founder, Madhyan Care. Sakshi Madhyan is an established psychologist, award-winning happiness coach, wellness and leadership expert, and keynote speaker with over 10 years of quality experience with various Fortune 500 companies. She is the founder of Madhyan Care, a positive mental health initiative. Sakshi helps organizations with mental well-being blueprints and developing a positive workplace culture. She is also a certified practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming and rational emotive behavior therapy. Sakshi Madhyan has recently been awarded as one of the 51 most fabulous global happiness leaders by World HRD Congress. She has been working with different sections of the society in promoting the vision of positive mental health for all through her venture Madhyan Care. She has also done a session on emotional fitness at HRAI, which was appreciated by many of our participants. She is passionate about building a happy and empathetic society. We once again look forward to an exciting session from her. You can follow her on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. I now hand over the platform to Ms. Sakshi. Over to you, Sakshi.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Peter. It was a fabulous introduction. I am really excited to be here, like always. It's a pleasure to interact with all of you. Good evening to all the participants. We are here again to talk about a very relevant topic in today's time, which is stress. I see so many clients of mine, both at an individual level and in organizations, going through a lot of stress and anxiety during this time, which is fairly rational as well. So we'll be talking more about this topic in detail so that you're able to learn about what exactly is stress and how you can overcome it, both in your workplace and your personal life. I know the topic is stress at workplace, but I'll be talking about it in a very holistic manner so that your personal life also benefits out of the discussion. Now, people who have heard me already, they know that I usually have interactive sessions where I ask you to text a lot and participate via chat messages. So the first thing is, in order to make the session interactive and exciting, participate as much as you can. The reason being that, one, that you get a lot of learnings, and second, we are able to connect better. Otherwise, I just talk to the screen and I don't know whether you're listening, not listening. It's difficult for me to notice because I don't see your faces here, right? So participate as much as you can to make the session interesting. The second thing is how I always start the session, and what do you expect out of today's session? So if you can quickly put your expectations in the chat message, I'll be able to understand what are you looking for from today's session, and I'll be able to help you with that accordingly. Instead of going through the PPT slides, which is more mechanical, I would prefer to have experiential learning and interaction here. So talk about your queries and questions. You can send it privately to me, or if you want, you can send it to everyone, however you are comfortable. So awaiting your messages, and accordingly, then I'll proceed. What do you expect out of today's session when it comes to stress and stress management? Quickly. I see 41 participants here, including me. So waiting your responses. And in the meantime, apart from expectations, you can also share your understanding of stress. What do you think stress is, and what are the activities that you are practicing to overcome stress? What are the things that are working for you? What are the things that are not working for you? So that I can give you additional techniques and tips to manage your well-being. So I already hear people have written how not to stress out at work. Some practical tips to overcome. Okay. Others, you have no queries, no questions? I got another one. Make the session joyful and rich to handle today's situation and face day to day. Absolutely, Parvati will be doing that, but I need your support more than my support, right? Mine is like 10% and rest is your participation. Okay, so we'll be definitely doing that. But tell me, what exactly is stress for you? Like, I see everybody wants to be stress free and anxiety free. Nobody wants to worry. Nobody wants to be stressed. What is stress according to you? If you can quickly type your knowledge about stress. Corona tension. Stress is corona tension. Okay, absolutely. So it's a valid tension, and it's a reality based fear, I would say. It's more of fear because it's real time, and it's real time threat and danger to our survival. So absolutely, that's completely valid. Other than that, what are the definitions that you have for stress? Stress is a feeling of emotional or physical tension. Peterson, did you just Google the definition of stress? Okay. Raki has asked how to cope up with the fear amongst employees of joining office once this COVID wave is over. One step at a time, Raki, one step at a time. Right now, the current situation is to deal with remote working and managing stress of pandemic and how to be safe, healthy. That's the first priority right now. Once we are able to overcome it, then we go on to post-COVID stage where we'll do another session and we'll discuss that as well. But let's deal with one problem at a time. So Sapna is writing, stress for me is worthy at length. Stress is inevitable, but suffering is unavoidable. Is avoidable. Brilliantly written, Sarthak. Munmun says insecurity and fear, and Raghavendra says unnecessary pressure. Absolutely. But what do you think? Is stress good for us, or is it bad for us? I'm just understanding how much you know about stress so that I accordingly proceed. What do you think? Stress is good or stress is bad? So Parvati says stress is bad. Neha says it's bad. Tushar says it's both. Very convenient, huh? Sapna also says it's good up to an extent. Okay. Sarthik says good. Okay. It should be in right levels. Absolutely. But then what is the right level? Who decides what is the right level? Where is the stress good and where is the stress bad? How do we understand that? Think, can tell me? And in the meantime, I'm putting on the PPT also for all of you. So yes. So it should be in the right levels, yes, but how do you know what is the right level? When is it right and when it is wrong? As long as it doesn't destroy my decision-making capacity. Stress can work as trigger for performance, and that's good. Absolutely, very rightly said. So what we'll do here is, first of all, we'll understand the psychological definition, and then I'll give you a simplified definition of stress. So when you see stress, it's a normal response of our body given to any physical or emotional demand based on ourselves. So any mental or physical demand that's put on us, our body would respond to it, and that is considered as stress. Adrenaline, which is a chemically naturally produced, which is a chemical which is naturally produced in a body, is a response to stress. Usually, you would see fight and flight in the situation, and the topic was well spoken about by Henseli, and he spoke about the topic called burnout as well. Right, so that's what stress is in psychological definition. It's an automatic response of your body, which we have throughout in our day-to-day routine. So every day you would see this happening to you as and when challenges or pressures are put on you in your day-to-day requirement. So adrenaline is released in your body, and then you're like, either I have to fight the situation or I have to run away from the situation to cope up with the current demand. That's how we all respond to stress. Now, stress is actually good and bad both. So few of you who had written that stress is both, it's absolutely correct. Stress can be good and stress can be bad as well. But moderate amount of stress is good for performance. So anything that uplifts you, that motivates you to perform, that's good stress. So for example, when you're working towards a deadline of a project, to be able to achieve it in time, that's good stress that you have. Similarly, when you're preparing for an interview or you're preparing for an appraisal, that's good stress that you have, because you're working towards a goal and for which you have some anxiety and some stress level, which will help you to perform better. However, when the intensity goes on to the other extreme, where you are constantly worrying about the pressure and you feel that you don't have it in you to cope up with the situation, it's a negative thing for you that would cause bad stress, which would impact you in your body, in your mind, in your thoughts, in your emotions, in your behavior, etc. So that's how you segregate between good stress and bad stress. So preparing for marriage, for example, it's a very stressful thing, but it's a positive stress because in the end, it is leading you to achieve a certain goal, right? So now when we talk about this, and you read it here also, that moderate amount of stress is good, and too little of stress may also lead to you being laid back or get into the zone of monotony, and too much of stress can cause you a lot of anxiety level, right? So that's what you understand about stress here. However, where do you get this stress from? Like, if I ask you, where is this stress coming from? Where is this stress coming from? Do you know your sources of stress? Rakhi has written, unless it harms our mental and emotional well-being and we are equipped to handle it constructively, it's good stress. Absolutely. Very nicely written, Rakhi. Proud of you. So, yes, I was asking you, where do you get the stress from? Rakhi says pessimistic thoughts. Front news, absolutely. I have put the sources here for you to cheat as well. You can see where does it come from. Bad culture, absolutely. Environment, yes. Criticism, absolutely. Situations, yes. So there are various sources of stress that you would see in yourself, and they would impact your well-being. Now, when we talk about stress and the sources, it's important to understand that stress is not same for everyone, right? Do you think stress is same for everyone? Like you and me and person A, type of stress, or is it subjective? Saying stress is same for all, or type different if you think stress is different for people? No? Okay. It depends on person. Absolutely. So can I safely say that stress is all in my mind? Can I safely say that stress is all in my mind? Because it's very subjective. It depends upon individuals, right? So, for example, two people working on a deadline, right? They both are working on the same project. One is getting really hyper and one is getting really disturbed with the deadline approaching, and the other person is really calm and composed. Why is that happening? Because it's all there in your mind, how you perceive a situation that would impact your stress level. So this is your first tip in order to deal with a situation, which is how you perceive a situation. It is your own ability. So while you're looking at the situation, see whether your perspective is more of finding the silver lining, or your perspective is more on focusing on the roadblocks. If you're more of a person who focuses on what are the problems and what are the hurdles, you will experience more stress, which will give you various stress responses in your body and mind. So if you see here, there are 4 different types of stress responses that we all get. I'm talking about the basics so that you understand. I had another question and query from someone that what are the signs and symptoms while they were enrolling. They had written that what are the signs and symptoms in order to overcome or to find out whether we are stressed. So these are the 4 categories in which you experience stress. Now, can anybody tell me what are the various symptoms? Can you put some symptoms here for stress? Absolutely, Sunil. I think you are right. Better to face the problem, then the stress will go away. Absolutely true. More you experience it, more you face it, more you overcome it. Yes, true. So what are the signs and symptoms of stress? If anyone can tell me. Quick. Your participation is highly needed. I want to know if you know the signs and symptoms. Try, there's no right or wrong answer. It's okay to participate. Trembling, low energy levels, very good. Lack of enough sleep, anxiety, panic, absolutely. More participation. Fear, can't make decisions, true, absolutely. So if you see here, there are 4 categories, and the first one is somatic. And when we talk about somatic, you would see that there are bodily symptoms that you would get. Any stressful situation first creates bodily symptoms where you would see disturbance in appetite, very good, Karthik. So there would be aches and pain in your body, palpitation, you get easily tired, and there is a lot of disturbance in sleep. Some people sleep way too much under stress, and some people lose their sleep under stress. So different people respond differently. Some people eat too much, some people eat too less during the stressful times. And aches and pains, of course, like I said, you'll have pain somewhere or the other. So neck pain, headache, joint ache, all of those are the things that you will see, and you getting tired easily. These are the signs and symptoms of your body getting impacted due to stress. So anybody who experiences these symptoms in your team, you know that, or in your family, you know that he is going through stress and he needs some time off. Okay, and he needs to talk it out, that what is bothering him, so that you're able to help him with better intervention. Then comes the cognitive part. Like we said, that's all in our mind. So you would see that whenever we get stressed, our mind starts behaving weird, where you will see there's difficulty in concentration and focus. You can't focus, you can't process the information well. You would see yourself being really indecisive, where you're unable to take decisions quickly. Even when you have to order food, you take a lot of time to think, what should I order? You spend more time thinking than deciding and acting upon it. You see that, you start forgetting things, you tend to procrastinate things a lot. So, I'll do this work tomorrow, and then the tomorrow never comes, and you keep on procrastinating. Anything that brings stress to you, you tend to procrastinate it. And there is ruminative pattern of thinking, where you just keep on ruminating on one thought over and over and over again, which creates a lot of havoc in your mind. And then it's unable to handle. Do you guys agree? How many of you have all of these symptoms, the cognitive and somatic symptoms? Type. Let me see, what all symptoms do you have right now? And then there's the emotional symptoms that you would see, where people get emotionally disturbed because of stress. You would see irritability, anger, and then you're displacing the anger from one person to another. So if you're angry with your boss, you're putting it onto your spouse, or you're angry with your spouse and you're putting it onto your kids. something like that, when you're displacing your anger because you can't express in front of the concerned person. Become short-tempered, you start feeling low, you alienate yourself, there's displeasure or disinterest in the activities that you used to enjoy, and a lot of negative thinking that happens. So all of these are the emotional responses that you see in yourself. Okay. Someone has written, for this, keep calm for 5 minutes and start working on problems. Absolutely. I think if I say this to people, and if I advise this to people that, keep calm and for 5 minutes and start working on your problem, I usually get the response that, ma'am, it's easier said than done. You tell us to keep calm and start working on problem, but it doesn't happen. Usually people talk like that. So yeah, we'll talk about how to work on the problems as well in the so yeah, emotional symptoms, these were the pointers. And the last one is behavior, where you would be able to observe people behaving in a different manner, where you would see decreased performance, they are unable to perform as well as they used to. Motivation is like really low, and they start avoiding situations. They are either way too much absent or way too much present in the situation, and there is increase in the use of caffeine, smoking, alcohol, other drugs, etc. So all of this behaviorally you would see in a person. So people who have impaired motivation, it is because of the stress that you are experiencing. Right, so these are the following symptoms that you would experience or someone else would experience when he or she is going through stress. And you know that it's not a good stress, it's bad stress, if it especially goes on for a longer time. And I also had a query from someone, I don't know who, whether you have participated here or not right now, but someone had asked me what's the difference between stress and burnout. So guys, do you have any idea what is the difference between the two? Anybody who can share the difference? What exactly is the stress and what is burnout? We have been quiet for the last 5 minutes that I have been talking. So yeah, Tushar says no idea. Anybody else who has any idea between the stress and burnout? What's the difference between the two? Burnout is something which is in excess. Okay. Burnout equivalent to fatigue, Rakhi is asking. Sarthak says extreme stress leads to it. Bang on. Thank you so much, Sarthak. That's a good answer. So chronic or acute stress would lead to burnout. Okay, so stress is your body's response where you feel pressured, where you feel, restless, when you feel hyper. However, in burnout, you feel exhausted and you feel drained and you do not want to do anything. You become really low in burnout. So too much of stress for a prolonged period of time, if not taken care of, if not dealt with, will convert to burnout. And burnout usually leads to depression in the longer time. So it's crucial for you to understand that stress, if untreated, can either lead to anxiety or it can go on to becoming a burnout. And if it becomes burnout, it has more chances of becoming or converting into depression. So that's how you understand the difference between the two. Burnout is just flush the tension and take the day as it comes. Well tried, but Parvati, it's more of an important point here. It can create depression in people. So I'll give you a few pointers for you to understand, because if we are able to handle the difference between stress and burnout, a lot of your problem is resolved while you are dealing with your teams at work, and also in your home when you are dealing with kids, when you're dealing with your family, especially during this COVID time, because you would see people getting panicky, people getting anxious and stressed a lot of times, especially when you listen to news the way we are listening to it right now. So the first difference, you can note this down because you may not remember this. So please pick up your pen and diary and make a note of this. So stress usually is characterized by over engagement. When you are too much engaged into something, too much engrossed into something, that would cause you stress. Burnout is usually characterized by disengagement. That means that you don't feel like working and you won't want to do anything. You give up on it. So when you start disengaging from any task, you know that you're burning out. Similarly, when it comes to emotions, you would see that in stress, you are overreactive. Like I said, that, crying bouts, anger, short-tempered, irritability. So you are overreactive while you are experiencing stress. However, while you are burnt out, your emotions are not there. You're blunted. You don't react, you don't respond, you're not overreactive, just quiet and numb. So that's where the burnt out feeling is reflected. And then you would see that hyperactivity is one of the signs of stress, whereas while you're burnt out, you would see yourself feeling helpless and hopeless. So you feel that nothing I can see from here, no future I see. I feel helpless. I don't think anything can help me to come out of this situation. That's burnout for you. Okay. Then, like I said, that stress leads to anxiety disorders and burnout leads to depression. So you got to be very conscious when you are dealing with your colleagues and when your family members are going through stress and burnout. You need them to speak to a therapist at that point in time. Sooner you make them talk to a therapist, easier it is for them to deal with the problem. And then the other part, the last part to it is that stress would cause physical symptoms more importantly, but burnout creates more of mental symptoms. So the cognitive symptoms are more seen in burnout and physical symptoms are more seen in stress. Any questions here? Any doubts here? I think this was pretty relevant, but I would love to listen from you guys. But anything around this if you want to ask? Yes, no? Are you with me? Waiting for your responses in the chat box. Coping mechanisms for stress and burnt out. Absolutely. So burnout and stress is dealt with in the first place in your mind. Okay. So like I said, that the first thing that you need to alter here is your perception. The second thing that you need to alter here is this. So if you see here, this is a very simple equation for you on stress, which says that stress usually occurs when pressure is greater than resource. So anywhere, if you would see around you, wherever there is more pressure in your life than the resource, you experience stress. This is the simplified day-to-day definition for you to understand stress better. Now, in order to deal with stress, like you're asking about the coping techniques, what should you do? Should you increase the resources or should you decrease the pressure? If you can quickly tell me, what should you do in order to cope up with stress? Should you increase the resources or reduce the pressure? Aisha says both, I guess. Decrease the pressure. How many of you say decrease the pressure and how many of you say increase the pressure? Depends on the kind of stress. Brilliant. Okay, so now understand that's important that we focus on increasing the resources as compared to reducing the pressure. For one simple reason, that reducing the pressure means that you are focusing on the external locus of control, while you're increasing the resources, you're focusing upon the internal locus of control. Do you understand the terminology, internal locus of control and external locus of control, or is it too much? Okay. Why am I asking you this is because this is purely psychology language. So internal locus of control is where you see what all you can handle, what all is in your control. External locus is more where you are saying the person A is responsible, this environment is responsible, and person B is responsible for this situation. So there, in external locus of control, we are mostly blaming the situation and we are putting things on someone else, due to which we feel out of control. So external locus versus internal, which one is more beneficial? Internal or external? Internal, absolutely, because then you're able to handle things better. A person with high internal locus of control experiences less stress, less anxiety, and they have optimal level of these two to perform better and to have more emotional stability. So we should always try to increase the resources. And what are these resources that we're talking about? What do you increase in you? The resources are mostly internal in your personality. So while we are talking about coping up with stress, perception is also internal. Your dekhne ka nazariya, right? So that is something that you work upon. Second thing that you work upon is your lifestyle. Now, we do hear this so often that we have this information, but how many of us actually practice it is a question. So when we say lifestyle management should be there, you should sleep on time, you should wake up on time, you should work out every day, you should practice meditation. How many of us do that? We should eat our food on time. We should have green tea more than the normal tea and coffees. How many of us do these things for lifestyle management? Participants here, if you can quickly tell me how many of you are practicing it. Lifestyle management. Parvati says, I'm doing. And what are you guys doing? Do 50 PCT. I would need elaboration on this because percent. Okay. Thank you, Tushar. I'm really bad with abbreviations. Do 50%, right? Okay. Diet control, mindful eating. Oh, it does this. Okay. Workout. Brilliant. See, the idea here is there are 5 things that we should do every day, or at least 5 days a week, and which is you working out every day. If you want to have healthy stress, you need to work out every day so that you're able to release chemicals from your brain which are healthy for your body to operate, to function well. Okay. So exercise is crucial. Everybody knows about it. So either you do walk, or you do yoga, or you do aerobics, whatever is suiting your body, please practice it. Whatever is suitable for your body. Pick up that particular workout and do every morning. It will help you to reduce stress. That's your first coping mechanism, other than perception that I spoke of. The second thing in lifestyle management that you do is eat mindfully, eat healthy, and see what's going in your body. I'm not saying that stop eating everything, from junk or sweets, etc. No, you eat, but in proportion. However, most of your meals should be healthy. So healthy eating and on time eating is something that we must encourage in ourselves and the people going through stress. Now, the other thing here is, while I'm talking about this, it's easy to follow during happy times. Okay, so whenever you're happy, whenever you're doing well in your life, you will be able to see that you are following these lifestyle skills better, as compared to when you are going through anxiety, depression, or going through some external pressure situation. So the idea here is, when you are disturbed, that is the most important time to follow these lifestyle management tips. Whenever you're sad, whenever you're upset, get up and push yourself to work out. And you would see that it will have a spiral effect on you, positive butterfly effect on you, to have positivity in your life. So that's something that you do. The third thing that you do, apart from eating and working out, is sleep. Sleeping helps you to keep yourself fit. So while you sleep, there are chemicals released in your brain which clears your mind. So a lot of vacuum cleaning is done when you sleep. And if you don't sleep well, you will see yourself emotionally drained, because the vacuum cleaning is not done. It's just like if you don't clean your house for 2-3 days, it looks like a mess, right? Same goes with your mind. If you're not sleeping properly, those chemicals are disrupted and the cleaning is not done, and you feel disturbed emotionally. So sleeping is crucial for you to secrete those chemicals and to do vacuum cleaning. The fourth thing that you do is pursue a hobby. Karuna says, I do sleep, but in stressful times, you can't sleep properly. Yes, you can't sleep properly during stressful times. However, just try to go to bed on the time that you do. Usually, what you can do is you can use essential oils to induce sleep. So there's lavender oil, which calms your nerves. You can use that. You can also use warm lukewarm water bath. It helps you relax. And there's nutmeg powder, Jeffel. It also relaxes your muscles, and it helps you to calm your stress. So these are the 3 things that you can do while you are stressed so that you're able to sleep peacefully. Warm water bath, using essential oils like lavender. And the third thing is use nutmeg powder in terms of green tea, or use it in terms of, boil it in milk and consume it before you sleep an hour or so before. It will help you to sleep peacefully. Yeah, I hope this helps you, Karuna. So the fourth thing that I was talking about is following your hobby. Now, how many of us follow our hobbies on a regular basis here? If you can quickly tell me how many of you follow your hobbies on regular basis, or have you forgotten about it completely? Parvati does. Very good. Parvati, what do you do in your hobby? And others? The other 54 participants? Tell me what do you do. Just don't say I do it. Tell me what do you follow in your hobby, in your regular routine. I want to know some hobbies as well. Waiting for your responses. I meditate, morning prayers, classes, okay, dance, painting, beautiful, guitar. Okay, awesome. So the idea here is people who have not responded, and if you do not have hobby, please pick up one so that you are able to give yourself some me time. In the me time, one is hobby and one is you doing nothing but just sitting with yourself. When I say me time, one is hobby, and the second part of me time is you just sitting with yourself and doing nothing. And I say doing nothing means nothing. Sit, lie down, stand, but do nothing. No phone, no TV, no people, just be with yourself and with your thoughts and with your body and with your emotions. Just be with these three things in you and spend 15 minutes, 20 minutes, however, you can devote your time to this particular activity. That would be a true me time where you will be able to have a lot of introspection. You will be able to learn a lot about your personality. So these are the two things that you do in your me time. One is following a hobby and giving yourself time where you're doing nothing. Brilliant. So Sahaj yoga classes and art of living classes. Awesome, Parvati. Now, all of these can come under meditation. So how many of you meditate regularly? Because I had also seen a question Peter had sent me. A participant wanted to know what is the link between stress and meditation. So people who don't do meditation, this is for you. While you meditate, you actually are able to sort your thoughts, you're able to live in the moment, your ability to filter things is better, your ability to process emotions is better. So stress absolutely gets reduced, and its meditation is a powerful tool to overcome any of the mental health related issues. So practice meditation at least 5-10 minutes a day. Now, someone had also asked me whether it's what's the right way of meditating. So there are different forms of meditation that are there. I would request you to go and explore. Ideally, find a guru for yourself, find a teacher who can teach you the basics of meditation, and then start practicing it on your own. You can join a group also, because that will help you to motivate and do it regularly. So Rakhi has written Sudarshan Kriya by AOL. Absolutely, Art of Living Sudarshan Kriya is amazing. Even Sahaj Yoga is good. These are more based on scientific techniques, as per my understanding here. So practice meditation. There's mindfulness that you can use. I usually do mindfulness, which is based on Vipassana. So that's a wonderful way of keeping yourself calm and composed, and that builds internal resources to deal with the external pressure that you have in your life. So meditation is a must, and you can include it along with your workout in the morning. And if you guys are unable to do any of these things, a very simple way to deal with stress would be the power of deep breathing. So if you don't have time to meditate, and if this is your excuse, or if you are genuinely unable to meditate, then all that you need to do is use deep breathing as a tool. Just be with yourself and do deep breathing. Inhale, hold, and exhale. Inhale, hold, exhale. through your nose, of course, not from your mouth. When you practice this deep breathing meditation and focus on the area between your nose and your lips, which is your upper lips, while the air is passing out, the oxygen goes in and carbon dioxide comes out. Follow that. Feel your warm air here on the in between the upper lips and nose. It will really help you to focus, and that would also be a type of meditation for you. So deep breathing does a great trick to overcome stress if you can't meditate. And the last part of lifestyle management is random act of kindness, which means you doing things for people around you. So you understand that, you know, when a person is asking for things, more you ask for things, more you feel needy. But more you pick up your hand to give something to someone, more you feel empowered. So random acts of kindness give you a lot of satisfaction and empowerment within. It also helps you to build more internal resources for you. So do all these 5 things in your day-to-day routine. At least 3 to 4 these are to be done on the regular basis. That will really help you to be more emotionally stable. Now, I have seen a lot of people saying that, you know, isn't following a routine monotony is equal to monotony, or is it not monotonous? So what do you think? Is following a routine boring, or is it not? If you can quickly tell me. Following a routine is boring, or is it not boring? Not boring, Parvati says. Tushar also says not boring. Aisha says sometimes. Yes, so especially, you know, youngsters, I've seen youngsters having this theory in their mind that, you know, I follow the routine, it's boring. However, it is not. So I pick up this platform to create awareness that while you are following the lifestyle management tips for yourself, it's not, or while you're following the routine, it's not monotony. It is for your health purpose. It is for your emotional stability purpose. When you talk about monotony or boredom, that comes because you're not doing anything creative. So if you incorporate new experiences in your life, if you incorporate creativity in your life, if you do things differently in your life, that would bring excitement and kill the monotony. So your routine has nothing to do with your monotony. These routine elements, the 5 elements that I spoke of, are for emotional and mental, physical stability. But for monotony, you need to include creativity in your life. So another technique for overcoming stress and the pressure and anxiety is to use your creative mind. More you use creativity to make the most out of the limited resources and to do things differently, more you would see yourself going through that endorphin rush, more you would feel happy in yourself. Make sense? Any questions, any doubts here, guys? I have been speaking for a longer time. Anything that you want to ask around this? Are we good? Any questions till now, whatever we have covered, if you want to ask? If there's anything, please do let me know. Sapna has no question. Anybody else who has any question? Anything that you want to ask? How to stop overthinking? Brilliant. The first thing is, whenever you are thinking, ask yourself whether the thought is rational or irrational. Okay. If it's a rational thought, definitely you will not be thinking again and again about it because it's rational. Krishna says attend these sessions and then you will stop overthinking. Okay, brilliant. So the first thing is that figure out whether it's a rational stress or rational thinking or an irrational thinking. Rational thinking usually doesn't convert into overthinking. It's mostly irrational thinking that would convert into overthinking. So what you need to do is you need to reframe your irrational thoughts into rational ones. So for example, when your mind tells you that if you had a breakup or if you didn't get promotion in the organization, simple examples, and you say that, nobody loves me because of breakup, nobody loves me. Now, is this a rational thought or an irrational thought? It's an irrational thought, right? Nobody loves me just because you had a breakup. Because apart from that person, there are a lot of other people who do care for you, who do wish well for you. So can I safely say that there are people other than this person who do love me? So can I safely say that this thought in itself is not correct? So I say there are a lot of people who care for me. So I replace that irrational thought with a rational one. Similarly, when I didn't get the appraisal, I am not liked by my boss. My boss likes the other person more, and I'm not good enough. So, is it true that you're not good enough? Is it true that the other person is liked more? If yes, then why did you get the previous appraisal? If yes, then why did you get the previous appreciation from your boss? Just because you didn't get it this time doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It only means that you may need more work on your skills. You need to upgrade your skills more and prepare for it for the next time. So this is how I reframe that I need to work on my skills to get the second promotion. So while you reframe your thoughts, it helps you to go from overthinking to healthy thinking. That's the first thing, converting your irrational thoughts to rational ones. The second thing that you have to do in order to overcome overthinking is that you have to ask yourself, how is this thought serving me? So, for example, to understand the healthy thoughts versus unhealthy, you have to see if you're telling yourself one thing and you're worrying about one thing 1 or 2 times, it's absolutely healthy. But if you're thinking about the same thought 17th time, then ask yourself, how is this thought serving me? When you question it, you automatically tend to stop thinking about it. So question yourself that how is this thought serving me? Okay. Someone is saying in today's time, when there's hardly, okay, I have a lot of questions here. Just a second. Manoj is asking, can we get a recording of the session? Absolutely, it's available everywhere on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. So you can just go click on HRAI and you will get the recording. Sarthak says, in today's time, when there is hardly any free time as we are in connected world 24/7, isn't stress a part and parcel of life? See, if you see, I'll tell you one thing, that stress as a concept was developed in us because we were cavemen earlier. Okay, so for survival, to be able to anticipate danger and threat, we had this particular function in our body of adrenaline, and to be able to perceive the threat and danger when we were cavemen, when we were hunting for food, when we were living in caves. However, evolution happened and we started living in all these safe spaces, and we didn't have to hunt for our food. Everything is available on the press of a button. So things became really smooth for us, right? So the original stress changed into day-to-day pressure wala stress, right? So if you see, the basic purpose is to sense danger and threat. That is what stress does, so that you're able to be vigilant, to be able to be more alert, and to survive in your environment. That's what stress is there for. However, what we have started doing is we label everything as stress. You have a deadline, you say you are stressed. You have a breakup, you say stress. If you have a fight, you say stress. If you are unable to attain your goal, you say you are stressed. So if you are unable to attain a goal, you say that my use the word stress. So if you want to be stress free, then ensure that you are using right words to overcome situations. So if you had a breakup, say that you went through a breakup and you're saying, oh my God, I'm so stressed. Because you were going through that situation is called breakup. If you're unable to, if you have a deadline, so then say that there is a challenge, there's a deadline that I need to fulfill. That's how you go about labeling things appropriately. And that way, the stress, which is a part and parcel of our life, becomes an easy part and parcel of our life and not a very overwhelming state of mind. I hope this helps, Sarthak. So label things appropriately. appropriately, and don't just call everything as stress, anxiety, and depression, because they're completely different. And which is why we had these, definitions and signs and symptoms for you to understand what is good. Parvati says, if this situation remains for whole year 2021, how to take life lightly and move on safely? Kindly put little light on this. Please to maintain good appraisals and officials happy, how to maintain all this 24/7. Now, first of all, if this situation remains throughout the year, we don't know that, right? Because last year also, when the COVID situation started, we were worried, but post September things settled down and we were good. We started going out post September, October, November, December was fairly good. Even Jan and Feb was good. So we had our good times as well. And then again, there was the phase 2 part in which we are going through starting March. So I'm sure that this situation will also calm down and we'll be in better position after 2 or 3 months, hopefully. I'm hoping that, just like how the trend was last year. In the meantime, all that you need to do is, instead of focusing too much on future, why don't you practice gratitude and appreciate and count your blessings right now? Blessings that you are safe, you're healthy, blessing that you have a secure job. Everybody in the organization also understands what you are going through. So nobody is putting undue pressure on you except we ourselves. And even if someone does put pressure on you, you need to disassociate yourself from that pressure for your health, because without health, you can't even earn wealth. It's not possible, right? That's what I have learned with my experiences in life. If I'm not healthy, I can't provide health to other people. I can't give these lectures. And if I'm not healthy, I can't make money either. So one day at a time. The other thing that you do, like I said, gratitude is the key to be happy and to be calm in your difficult times. Happy times, you do whatever you want to, because it's easy to go through the moments in happy times. These skills are needed for difficult times mostly, not for happy times. So right now, appreciate, look around you. If you're sick, be thankful and pray that you're good. Because when I talk every day to people, I know how many things I hear every day and what the families are going through. And I'm sure that you also listen in news, but when you personally listen it from your clients and patients, it's really disheartening. And all that you do is practice gratitude there. Sarthak says, I mean, to discuss it as a topic is good academically speaking, but can't avoid it at all. No. Definitely you can't avoid it. Face it, but face it with these life skills that we are talking about. Label them appropriately. Label your situations appropriately. That's more important. Tushar says, how do we inculcate the habit of remaining in present moment and conscious all the time in whatever we do? Okay, so the first thing that you do, I'll give you a quick tip. Your eye movement. I think, spoken about it last time also. I don't know with your team or not, but I've spoken about this with a lot of people. Your eye movement should usually be in your vicinity, going in this periphery. Okay. Avoid doing a lot of up or rolling down of your eyes. Keep your eyes at the at the level where you're looking around to things. More you have eyes wandering in your environment, more you live in the present. More your eyes are not focused in the present environment, more you are traveling in your past or your future. So your eye can actually help you with staying in your present moment. That's the first quick tip. This can be practiced by everyone. No effort here, right? Just to keep your eyes around and see things around you. That's one thing that you do. The second thing that you do to live in the present moment is that you do one thing at a time. People who multitask, they have difficulty being in the present moment, because you will have half information from here and half information from somewhere else, and your mind will be like really confused. Understand, your eyes are the source of information to your brain. So then the brain decodes the message and sends it to your body, and that's how you you're able to comprehend the information. So give your eyes one thing at a time to comprehend information. That will help you to be in the present moment. So these two things, simple tricks, nothing fancy, and it will help you to go a long way in the present moment. I hope this helps you, Tushar. I see another question here. Parvati says, yes, that's true. I work for Jaipuria and my head of the house are so good. You won't believe, month is not over yet, but we got our salary. I'm so happy, Parvati, that you are experiencing such positive vibes in your workplace. Very good. Very happy for you. Karuna says, how to manage time if you are under stress? As this mismanagement of time make it more worse as you don't get time for things what makes you happy. Absolutely. I would agree with this. It's a very relevant question. When you are stressed, when you are anxious, there is total mismanagement of time. So all that you need to do is you need to plan your day while you go to bed the next day. So okay, so today while I'm going to bed, I would plan what I'll do tomorrow. And when I say I'll plan what I'll do tomorrow, I will not just plan it abstractly, but I will put specific measurable goals. So for example, if 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. I have to work out, then what workout I'm supposed to do? I will download the video of the workout that I have to do so that I have specific measurable goal at that point in time, so that I don't have to spend time thinking and searching for the video that I'll do tomorrow in the morning. So plan everything both for personal and professional life concretely before you sleep in the night. That's one thing that you do. And then when you wake up in the morning, just go through it, because there are times when you wake up, you may not have a lot of energy. You may have put a lot of ambitious goals in the night before you sleep. So, try to tweak and twist your plan for the day depending upon the energy level that you have. And more importantly, anything that brings a lot of anxiety in you, please finish that work first. Anything that is bringing anxiety in you, finish that work first, because what will happen otherwise is that you will procrastinate that task and you will remain in anxiety zone or stress zone throughout the day. So for example, if I have something that brings me anxiety, I consciously push myself to finish it in the morning so that I have happiness throughout the day. Otherwise, it's really difficult to sustain that stress in your mind throughout the day. So that's the quick tip that you can use to manage your time. Start with these few tips, and then I'll give you more once you follow this. Information overload leads to no practice at all. So one thing that you work upon, and then go on to the next step. So that's another advice to manage stress. Whenever you are stressed, pick one day at a time, one thing at a time. Don't rush into everything together. It will really help you to go long way. We are almost done with the timing, but I'll take this last session.
Yeah, so actually, before taking any further questions, we'll just run a poll and capture the feedback of our participants on our today's session. Will that be fine for you?
Absolutely, absolutely. People
Request
can
all
work on it. Cool.
Request all our participants to kindly share your feedback on our today's session.
And I see another question here. Healer says that how can we judge what is the right amount of stress for us? Anything that doesn't disrupt your day-to-day routine is good. Anything that day-to-day routine is so if you're stressed from, it's good stress. But if you're unable to do anything and you're sitting in a corner and you're sitting here unhealthy and you need to understand that talking to an expert in such times helps you to relieve your anxiety quickly. Family is there to support you. They are your support system for a reason, so that you are able to share, you are able to vent out. But when you talk to an expert, you resolve the problem quickly. And whatever can be resolved in one session, it's better, right? As compared to when you wait for it and make it into 3-4 sessions when your problem is multifold. Try to deal with the problem when they're small instead of making them huge and then dealing with the bigger problem. It will help you to run long way, and it will keep you emotionally healthy also. Because till the time we all are living, problems will remain there, right? You can't undo those problems. But happiness is in your ability to deal with the problems. This is my favorite quote from Steve Maragoli, and I always use it, that happiness is not the absence of problems, but your ability to deal with them. So don't think that there will be no stress, there will be no worry. There will be problem, but how you deal with them is important. So be aware of your mental health. Take initiative for yourself. And you have my LinkedIn contact. You can Google my name, follow me on Instagram. It's by the name of Man Dhyan Care. Man and Dhyan, that's my surname. And the organization name is also on the same name. So follow, and if you have any questions which are left unanswered, please reach out and I'll definitely try to help as much as I can. And I see wonderful feedback. Thank you so much for this beautiful feedback. I can see it, and I'm really grateful that you guys enjoyed the session. With this, I conclude the session today. Thank you for your patient listening and active participation. Over to you, Peter.
Thank you so much, Sakshi. A truly stress buster session. Uh, Wonderful tips that you have shared with us. I'm sure all our participants had a lot to learn and gain from this session. And I'm sure they would be practicing that in their day-to-day life. Uh, Before we conclude with our today's session, we would also want to thank the association members, that is Geisha, NASCOM COE, LinkedIn Local, Talgrow, TLE, WICCI, and ClipTalk for supporting these HRAI events. To know more about these associations, I request you to kindly visit the link provided in the chat window. Many of you all have inquired about the e-certificate that are offered by HRAI. You can claim your certificate by sharing your details, that is your name and session attended, in an email ID to the email ID provided in the chat window. We will share the certificates with you by the 2nd of May. Request to share this detail at least by 30th of April so that we can send it to you by 2nd of May. Thank you once again, dear speakers and our participants, for joining us today. Do join us for our next masterclass tomorrow on the Mask Leadership, a session by Mr. Prakash Sharma, Founder, Director, Bija Trainings, on the 30th of April, 2021. I request you to kindly register for this event at the link mentioned in the chat window, and also do join the Dialogue 2021 WhatsApp chat group through the invite link shared in the chat window. That's it from us today. See you soon. Stay safe, take care, and keep learning. Thank you so much, Sakshi.
Thank you. See you. Bye.
See you. Thank you, Rakhi and Sapna, for attending. Thank you, Karuna. Sham, we may hereby conclude with our today's session. Thank you so much.
Sure, Peter.